Hello. Where's the lens on my camera? I don't know. I think it's there. Um, it is Tuesday evening, May the 27th, 2025, as I am recording this. I wanted to sort of document what is going on with my health as of this moment and sort of keep a record of what's going on. So it all started about a month and a half ago in April when I started to cough a lot, especially when I was eating and when I was talking. Talking would usually cause me to start coughing. And it was actually fairly bad. It's something that I've experienced before, but it's never been that bad before. So I made an appointment to see an ear, nose, and throat doctor at Virginia ENT. It's still happening, obviously, but to a lesser extent. It was usually worse in the morning, too. I'm talking in the evening. The sun has just gone down, basically. It is about... I can't read the screen. 8 o'clock. It is about 8 o'clock at night. Another health issue I have, which is unrelated, is I have a cataract in my left eye, so I can't read anything without my glasses. My left eye is basically useless at the moment, so I have to have glasses to use my right eye. I actually had a cataract removed from my right eye back in 2018, so I'm extremely farsighted in my right eye, and my left eye is nearsighted, but everything is blurry on that side. So yeah, that's all unrelated. I was going to try to get surgery on my left eye this summer, but that might get bumped now. Now that I have new information, new things to deal with. Anyway, so I went to an ENT somewhere around the end of April. I don't remember the exact date. Mid to late April, I guess. Told him what was going on. He stuck a fiber optic scope up my nose and looked at the top of my throat, which was not as bad as it sounds. And he saw there was some redness and irritation at the top of my esophagus, and he suspected acid reflux, which is actually what I was suspecting as well, so that sounded perfect to me. Sorry, I'm going to be coughing a lot because all this talking is going to make me cough. I'm also going to be wheezing a lot because that's the main thing I'm dealing with right now. And this activity is suddenly making me start to sweat. And I've got a cat that I need to deal with. Hold on. Okay, I kicked out the outside cat. I've got some chamomile tea here to help my throat, which it doesn't really help very much, but it's mildly soothing. So, between the time I called the ENT and the time that I actually first visited him was, I don't remember the exact time frame, but I want to say it was about 3 weeks. Um, during that time period, I started to feel some symptoms of shortness of breath. Um, and what I mean by that is I would start walking around the house, I would do some light activity, and I would feel way more winded than I usually was. I also I also started to feel like I was getting more frequent headaches. So whenever I got a headache, I would check my fever, and I never had a fever because I was thinking in my head, oh no, what if I've picked up COVID or a flu or something like that? It did actually feel a lot like sometimes in the past where I have, after I had gotten something like a pneumonia, or I had COVID once, and I had some shortness of breath for a couple of weeks afterward. So I wondered if I had picked up something like that during that 3-week period. I didn't think I currently had COVID because I didn't I wondered if maybe that's what triggered the coughing more suddenly than usual. This is harder than I thought it was going to be. I feel like I just want to cough constantly now. And I feel like I'm really struggling to breathe. Well, I'm not. It doesn't feel like it feels like I'm talking in the middle of running, is what it feels like. I feel like I have to breathe more deeply to get these words out. Anyway, so I went to see the ENT, told him all this stuff. He suspected acid reflux. Told him a little bit about the breathing troubles I was having. Oh man, I'm gonna have to cut this short. He put me on a couple of meds. The first one was an acid reducer. I don't remember the name of it off the top of my head. It's on my phone, but my phone is sitting on a tripod right now. One was an acid reducer. The other was, I think it was Singulair, a generic Singulair. Because I had mentioned the breathing thing, so he thought maybe I was having like a mild asthma symptoms, something like that. Long story short, the Singulair did not appear to do anything when I started taking it. I took it for about 3 weeks. Did not appear to help breathing at all. Didn't seem to have any effect on me whatsoever. I stopped taking it because after I got back from the ENT, I started getting headaches like basically every day. I was having a headache. Pretty bad headache too. Kind of a headache that pretty much ruins your day. So I thought maybe starting the new meds had caused what I was having, a side effect of the new meds. So I stopped taking the Singulair. That didn't change the headache at all. I kept taking the acid reducer. I don't remember the name of it. It was like Omni something. The generic name was like Omni something. I did notice that the Omni something did seem to help with acid. I felt like I did feel like it was reducing the coughing. I was having less like heartburn symptoms. I would have that. I would cough more after I ate. That seemed to kind of go away. Sometimes I would wake up in the middle of the night with like heartburn. That all went away. So that stuff seemed to work, but I still had occasional coughing like I'm doing now. Except it's actually worse tonight than it has been in the last week. Not sure what's up with that. But anyway, it is what it is. In any case, the shortness of breath never went away. Headaches never went away. I checked for fevers a number of times. I never had a fever. So it was just shortness of breath and headaches. So that was that until, by a coincidence, my yearly physical with my primary care doctor was on May 22nd, I want to say. It was a Thursday. Yeah, 22nd. I can see it on the screen there. So I talked to him about all this stuff. Especially the coughing, because I was still coughing, and that was and I had actually mentioned that to him before. The occasional coughing thing has been going on with me for a long time. It's never really been a problem. It's just kind of a thing I've noticed. Like sometimes when I'm talking, I'll just, like the vibration of talking will kind of irritate something and make me cough. That's been happening for a while. So, and when I say that, I mean years. I mean, I probably first noticed that 2018, 2019, 2020, something like that. I remember it from before COVID, because I remember when COVID arrived in March of 2020, everybody was like, oh, the coughing this is your primary symptom. And I was like, well, I've been coughing for for a while, and I know it's not COVID. So my primary indicator of when I got COVID in March of 2020. I think it was never tested, but it was the only thing going around at the time, and it matched all the symptoms. So anyway, I've gotten off on a tangent. What was I talking about? My primary care doctor, saw him on the 22nd in the Bon Secours network. He suggested that I get a chest x-ray. He listened to my lungs. He didn't hear anything with the stethoscope. Oh, one other thing. The night before I went to see the ENT, I kind of woke up in the middle of the night. I wake up a lot in the middle of the night. And I felt kind of this wheeziness in the middle of my chest, kind of down here. Like I could feel breath going back and forth, and I could hear like some crackling sounds. I don't know. I call that wheezing. I asked the doctor asked me, my primary care doctor asked me if I had any wheezing, and I asked him, what does wheezing mean? And he was like, can you like hear your breath? And I said, yeah, sometimes. So when I mentioned that to the ENT doctor, that's when he prescribed the Singulair to me as well. And that the day before the ENT appointment was the first time that I remember feeling that sensation. And that has continued to happen. Mostly when I'm lying down at night is when I notice it. Like I'll take a deep breath in and I'll feel like it feels like there's something kind of blocking my bronchial tubes here right in the middle. And usually like a light cough will kind of dislodge whatever it is and it goes away. Whew. Okay. Anyway, back to the primary care doctor. I had a chest x-ray. I went and got it, before I left there. Because I figured I would probably forget if I walked out of there without getting it. I sat in the waiting room at the main desk of Memorial Regional for the walk-in x-ray appointment. It took like 2 hours of waiting. I got the x-ray. They did a front x-ray and a side x-ray. And at worst, I thought maybe I would have like a bit of pneumonia or maybe, bronchitis, something like that. I've had those things before and it kind of feels like that. But I got a call from the doctor the next day on Friday, and he said, hey, have you seen the x-ray results? And I was like, well, no, how would I have? They didn't tell me anything when I left there. But he said there was something on my right lung. That's the bottom line. I will read exactly what the findings say. There is a new mass-like opacity measuring approximately 7 centimeters with a spiculated appearance along the medial right upper lobe. Other portions of the lungs are clear of acute disease. There may be tiny bilateral pulmonary nodules. The cardiomediastinal configuration is within normal limits. No acute bony abnormalities. Impression: new large mass-like lesion in the medial right upper lobe. There may be much smaller bilateral pulmonary nodules. A chest CT is recommended for further evaluation. That is exactly what it says on my chart thing. And I did get a copy of the x-ray on a disc, and I have looked at it, and it's definitely there. What they describe is definitely there. I also have a copy of x-rays that I had gotten in 2018 when I was having back problems, and that was like a chest x-ray, and also looking at my spine and shoulder areas. But there's one chest view with the lungs, and it doesn't look like there's anything like this in 2018. The only x-ray they had in their files from Bon Secours, though, goes all the way back to 2007. Which I think the x-ray I got in 2007 was probably when I had pneumonia. Pneumonia is nasty if you get it, by the way. It is horrible. For me it is anyway. Anyway, that's pretty much all I know at this point. There's something on the x-ray. I have scheduled a CT scan. As I'm recording this, it will be tomorrow afternoon. I had originally scheduled one for, it wasn't going to be until like June 5th, I think. But I actually got a call from my doctor on Sunday, right before Memorial Day, and he called me to tell me that he noticed that I had gotten this CT scheduled for June 5th, and he wanted me to call back and see if I could get one sooner than that. And he would put in, paperwork on his end to try to get it to be more of an emergency situation than so that it didn't give the impression of being like a routine scan. So that made me pretty nervous. You don't really expect to hear a doctor calling you on a Sunday before Memorial Day. I tried to call back Memorial Day, which was yesterday. Of course, they were closed, so I wasn't able to call them back until this morning. I did call them back, and I got a new scheduled CT scan for tomorrow, but I'm gonna have to drive all the way down to Chester. Apparently there's a Bon Secours affiliated emergency room down there in Chester, pretty close to where I used to live, actually. So I'll be heading down there tomorrow afternoon, and hopefully I'll get some results from that. Honestly, I don't have a great feeling about this, to be perfectly honest. I mean, I'm trying not to, focus on, the worst case scenarios. But it doesn't feel like something that will be simple to resolve, based on what I've heard so far, based on my impression so far, based on some reading I've done, some Googling, stuff like that. I'm trying not to panic too much, but could be a big deal. I don't know yet. I might be overreacting. A lot of times when you hear, a lot of times when you hear things about your health, you kind of jump to the conclusion that it's the worst case scenario, but it rarely actually turns out to be a worst case scenario, so I'm trying to think about that. But anyway, yeah, it doesn't sound great to me so far, so I'm trying to kind of prepare for the worst and, hope for the best, that kind of thing. Anyway, that is the situation as of now. In terms of my current symptoms, I have shortness of breath. It has been a bit of a struggle to record this video, doing all this talking. Like I said, I feel like I'm talking while I'm running, is what it feels like. So I feel like I have to keep taking these deep breaths after every sentence. I have headaches. Often I will wake up with a headache. The headaches are making me nervous too, because I know that one of the symptoms of lack of oxygen is headaches. So, it feels like I'm not getting as much oxygen as I was before. So yeah, that's definitely on my mind. I've also caught myself a couple of times like tripping over things when I wouldn't usually do that. And I know another symptom of lack of oxygen is, your coordination disappears too. Your coordination goes down. So I have also had the doctor asked me a few times, like, do you feel any pain? Like when I take a deep breath, I don't really feel any pain when I do that. Which is good, I think. However, I have realized that I have sort of issues with my back, my neck, shoulders, and back frequently. If I sit at the computer for too long, I'll have, back pain and things like that. And a lot of times I will feel that pain around my right shoulder blade. And I am feeling that a little bit now. It's not bad. It's just kind of barely there. But I do feel a little bit of pain around that area. It's like a small sort of ache. So I'm now realizing that might be related to the thing with my lung. I feel like it has probably been there for a long time, and I'm just now discovering it, which is probably not good. I've read a lot of things that it could possibly be. The doctor mentioned a number of things that it could be, including a tumor. So that is a distinct possibility. There's a distinct possibility I'm going to need to go to the hospital at some point. I think I'm going to need to go see a pulmonologist after I get the CT scan results. He did refer me to a pulmonologist in the Bon Secours network. So I will probably make an appointment with him tomorrow or probably the next day. I don't know how long that'll take. I hope I can get that appointment relatively soon. I hope it doesn't take like 6 weeks of waiting to get an appointment with him. If it does, I'll probably have to call around and try to find someplace else, because I don't think I should wait a long time. It does sort of feel like time is a factor here. Now my other cat is bothering me. Anyway, that's it. I don't have anything else to say. I'm tired of talking. More developments. More, my cat just coughed. That was weird. Anyway, stay tuned for further developments. Bye.